Welcome back to X-Men Classic. This is episode 32. I forgot to mention in the last episode it was episode 31. We're still in the Spotlight era, and first we're doing Amazing Adventures number 11. Yeah, this is the issue where if you're ever curious of how Hank McCoy got his fur, this issue explains it. Yep. Lo, a beast is born. Now this issue, this first one, the art's written by them first. This one's written by Jerry Conway. Yeah, and the issue opens up, and the story is called The Beast. With The Beast stalking some security guard, and he doesn't. He tries to avoid the security guard in order to get into this genetic research, and of course the guy pulls out his flashlight. And I should also mention the artwork in here is done by Tom Sutton. Yeah, and of course the guard spots the Beast, and of course Beast knocks him out, and he knocks him about, and of course the guard tries to shoot the Beast, and of course bullets do nothing to him. Yeah, so she says, "What you don't like?" He tries to explain something. Of course he knocks him out. He hits him again, and of course an alarm is tripped, and soldiers come out, tries to shoot the Beast. Beast quietly gets away from the soldiers and goes to Hank McCoy's lab. Yeah, and it's like oh no, it can't be that late. Not that late. He says, "I gotta check to change back." No, he can't change back, so he's stuck in this form. He throws a picture, and the picture is the original 5 X-Men. Excuse me, out of costume. And we cut away to like a flashback and saying, in the flashback, Beast basically just quietly goes to work for the Brand Corporation while leaving the X-Men. Jean kisses him on the cheek, and of course he just goes away. Of course, he doesn't wear the costume. He only wears his costume in the flashback. He never wears the costume again for some time. Yep. And of course, everyone's happy to see him. Like, everyone's sad to see the go, but happy he's moving on from the X-Men. And he gets a job with the Brand Corporation. Of course, he gets a car. He drives out there, and of course, he meets up with some military person because, well, like all corporations, they work with the military. Well, actually, it's just some security guard. He gets introduced to his boss, who I think is supposed to be introduced as boss, and he gets introduced to his assistant, Donaldson, who is also his love interest to this whole thing. And well, the Donaldson was introduced by this other guy to be introduced by Professor Maddox, who is a recurring character in here. Not very much. He's a minor character in the storyline. And says he didn't ask for him, despite the fact that McCoy is a huge fan of his, and he doesn't respect him. But yeah. Yeah, he says, and of course, some guy tells him that he's working independently, and apparently Donaldson basically asks him out. Of course, they go to dinner, and they go like romantic drive, and they sort of like start a normal relationship. And of course, Hank just goes around in his uniform, just happily be about, just goes around and he goes to a special project, and of course he tries to cure his mutation and makes the chemical, science stuff, and he and of course he creates the solution. Yeah, he says because he's on the phone, he doesn't want to disturb him. He's on something just like something's wrong with him. Like, something's going on with him. Basically, he's talking to somebody, doesn't know who. So he decides to take his new formula, and of course he drinks it and becomes the Beast. Yep. Jumps out a window, starts jumping about, runs into a security guard, and of course he And of course, we kind of, well, flash back to, and of course, we come full circle at this point. Approximately about halfway through the issue. We're halfway there, kind of explain like what happened prior to that. Yep. Of course, he goes around helping around, and Maddox is like something's going on. Of course, we have Beast busting through a door. Knock around some security guard. Of course, he gets into a scuffle with some security guards. Yeah. And of course, he tries to strangle Maddox. Of course, he doesn't do it. He goes against it. He almost does it anyways. And if I can turn the page here, and the issue ends with Maddox. I think he's actually shot. I forgot. He's actually this one issue. He gets shot by this woman. I don't think it's Dawson, somebody else. And the next issue ends basically with him just jumping away, and he says, "Next, kill Avenger." And we see next go to issue 12 of Amazing Adventures. And Beast is like, on the cover, he says, "I did it. I killed Iron Man." And we're about to figure out, no. Issue opens up. Now, before I begin, the story is called Iron Man DOA, and of course, open up with this lovely artwork by Tom Sutton. And I should mention that there's a new writer here, Steve Eichelhart. Yes, Eichelhart is the new writer for Amazing Adventures, and as far as I can tell, he stays on the whole time. Yep, he stays on for the remaining 5 issues after it. Well, actually, he stays on for 4 because issue 17 is. I'll get to 17. When I get to 17, I'll explain it. And of course, we flash back, and we just sort of see like Beast just hopping away. And of course, the next page is just recapping the previous issue, which I do like the fact Eichelhart did that. Yeah. To catch people up to speed, probably at the time they probably missed the previous issue, so this issue is probably there for a recap. And of course, Xavier tries to contact Beast, and of course something's going on. They don't know what's going on. Of course, Hank, Charles Xavier does succeed contacting him telepathically, and he wants him to leave him alone. Because of what happened in issue 666, the X-Men stay in hiding, and of course Beast goes stomping about a bit, goes to a library, decides to make some makeup, and he makes his own mask so he can actually be seen in a way. So he makes a head-shaped mask, and he puts on gloves so he can basically cover up his hands. And he also puts on a harness, sort of tightens him up, like so much. He tightens it up so he can actually feels like a regular size of a guy instead of being huge. So says he feels like he's really human again. Well, so I think he's the size of a man again. He goes to sleep, and we cut to the next day. Like, everybody's like, no one knows exactly what happened. Of course, Beast goes to his lab, and of course, he's in papers. Of course, he's upset. Even he snaps at some woman. He's blown up like that. Yeah, because he's upset. And of course, his boss calls him, and it says, "No activity." He's like, "Fine." And the visitors are, believe it or not, Tony Stark. Yes, Tony Stark visits the Brand Corporation and Melinda Rogers. Now, of course, Hank McCoy points out the obvious plot hole in this little thing of why he's here. Like, so I think, he's running. He has his own company to run. This is a good question. If I were only involved in running my plants, he just probably had to check out the competition. Says he has a few irons to work out in the fire. yeah, something goes on in the pages of Iron Man because of his weak heart. So yeah, ordinarily, and of course we have girlfriend at the time was Marina Rogers. I don't know if this woman's related to Steve Rogers, though. I have no idea. Perhaps Edgar can clarify me that. And of course, Hank introduces Tony to his assistant, who basically kind of takes a charms. I heard this by the fact he's dating Miranda Rogers, and of course Donaldson just sort of recaps what happened in the previous issue, and she's the one who shot the professor in the previous issue, and he says he has some other stuff to do. I see what take days off. I guess I'll be going. Nice seeing you, Mr. Stark, Miss Rogers. First she walks away and says, like, no, and of course he snaps, and because of all the strain he's under, Hank Pym like, no, and of course, Liz not just my assistant, Miss Rogers, she's my girl. Yeah. Hank, and of course Tony's like, what's wrong with him? Yeah, even though he doesn't say it, it's like something's obviously bothering him. Yeah, and of course, I believe you can visit Brand Corporation visiting from Iron Man. And of course, Donaldson goes on a date with Hank. And of course, they go out to dinner. And then, of course, later on, he switches and takes off all this stuff and just switches back to his beast look. Goes hopping about until he runs into Iron Man. Yep, he runs into Iron Man, completely out of nowhere. And of course, something's going on. Some kind of mental illusion. And of course, Beast attacks Iron Man for some reason. And they fight for a couple pages. They fight for several pages. It's a nice fight scene. And of course, like, he gets away. Well, actually gets knocked out. Like, actually, he gets knocked out. Like, his guards show up, and of course, and then Beast wakes up, hits him. Guards shoot him. He gets angry, and of course, attacks Iron Man again. Beats him, almost pretty much nearly kills him. Says Beast kills. No heartbeat. He's dead. And he thinks he murdered him. He just jumps away. And and Iron Man's like confused, like, what happened? And Donald's like, what happened? He's like, really, I don't know. And he just pictures Beast in his mind. And page here. Go. Issue ends with reveal that the person behind it all was Mastermind. Apparently we have a new Brotherhood, which at this point is comprised of just Mastermind, the Blob, and Units Untouchable. And of course they run into Beast in the next issue. It's a nice little shocking twist of an ending. Yes. Now we cut away to issue number 13. There it is. Yeah, no change of creative team, despite last issue did change. And of course, Mastermind kind of recaps what happened in the previous issue. Yeah, with this gorgeous splash page. And they're just talking for a bit. And of course, still recapping what happened in the previous issue with Beast nearly killing Iron Man. And they just talk and talk and talk. And then Beast shows up. Probably somehow finding them. And then he just fights him for a bit. And they convince him to work for them. Like, convinces him to join him. Of course, Mastermind does that. And he kind of does. Because he's different. He's an outsider. The one thing that kind of bothers me, though, is that why in the world is it that the Blob, the whole time you see him this whole issue, he's wearing a Speedo? I'm not kidding about this. The whole time you see the Blob, he wears a Speedo. No pants, no shirt, just wears a frickin' Speedo. I mean, when he gets feet hurt, but I have no idea. Yeah. And of course, they go to this carnival to stay and refresh. He just tries to get some swinging on some, like, tries to mope for a bit. And then all of a sudden, we get a visit by, believe it or not, you're not going to believe this, Patsy Walker and her soon-to-be ex-husband, Buzz. I'm not kidding. The woman who becomes Hellcat just shows up. And she's a supporting character in this entire thing. And she actually does stay in all the issues, not the other guy. The other guy's killed off. And of course, they're visiting here at the Pentagon. At this point, they're married. And from what I've heard, this character, Buzz, who is in the military, he actually was her sort of love interest in her romance series she had back in the early 60s, in the 50s and 60s. So, yeah, they actually married them off panel. And of course, this guy who I think is supposed to be Hank's boss just recaps what happened in the first part of this storyline. And they just walk about this place in this lovely artwork by Tom Sutton. They walk about for a bit and they meet up with Donaldson. Like, they're curious, like, and they talk to her about the monster, which is the Beast. Like, oh no, he's killed. And then they just talk a little while, and then they leave, and we cut away, and then we still stay with these two for one panel. Then we see kind of back and forth of like, actually see Patsy and Buzz trying to break into Hank's lab. And, yeah, break into Hank's lab. They don't get into his lab. They decided to leave when they couldn't get in. Well, actually, Patsy realizes that it's just sort of illegal. And we cut away to the Brotherhood telling Beast to go into a museum and steal some diamond. And the place looks kind of like the Avengers Mansion when they look back in the 60s. Yep. So Beast just does it. He just goes. He uses the Untouchables, and of course Blob and Eunice use their power, and of course send Beast flying. Sends the window, goes through security, grabs a diamond, gets out. Yep. He does it. He does what he's asked. Does what he's told. Gets a diamond. And then he gets hit by electricity because it's raining outside. Says, Willem, these trunks aren't a bathing suit. Here, just take Jewel and choke it. And of course, some crowd notices them, and of course, Massive conjures up some monster. Scares the locals away. And of course, Beast kind of like curious, and of course he turns against the Brotherhood. And of course he fights the Brotherhood in their little trailer. And he fights them for pretty much the rest of the issue. Like, fight, fight, fight. Traps Eunice in a Blob in some cage. Then he goes after Mastermind. And Mastermind has all his illusions at him, and Beast just walks right through his illusions and just rips through his coat. And driving the guy insane. And he leaves him against some lamppost. Beast calls the police. Tells them anonymous to find a diamond and the thief behind it. Issue ends simply with Mastermind going crazy. And that's it. So what did I think of these 3 issues? Well, even though I wasn't enthusiastic about these issues, but these issues were still pretty good. It set up like kind of like an ongoing series in a way for the Beast. Yeah, it was kind of like an ongoing series, his ongoing series of adventures. Him taking on him basically teaming with the Brotherhood was an interesting little idea, but luckily it only lasted like one issue. He turned against them. Him turning into like him getting his fur, that is properly explained. In case anybody's curious about it, but overall, 3 really good issues, all 3 written by good writers. Excuse me. Yeah, of course, the first story is written by Jerry Conway. I don't know why he left after the first story, and of course, handed off to Steve Englehart, but yeah, he handed off to good writer. I got to hand him to that. Yeah, hand him to good writer. So I give the 3 issues in 8.75 out of 10. They're 3 really good issues. I do recommend reading them. They're good. So that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will cover Marvel Team Up number 4. Marvel Team number 4 and Amazing Adventures 14 and 15. Until then, I will see you there. Bye.